Hello, Tiger fans. Thanks for joining us for a new week of Tiger Timeout here on the Campbellsville University Sports Network. Matt Payton with you as we take a look around Tiger and Lady Tiger basketball. Starting with the Lady Tigers, they played in the Show Classic in Kingsport, Tennessee this past weekend. Rio Grande Union College, the opponents, and as Coach Ginger High Colvin joins me, you put on a show down there to some degree. You had a nice weekend, well over 200 points total. The offense was working, the defense was working, and two big wins for number one Campbellsville.
Yeah, we knew going into the Rio game was going to be a good one. Rio's ranked 7th. We played them last season in opening round, or not opening round. We played them when we got to Sioux City. So we knew they had everybody back but the Skeens kid, and their system's good. They're very good offensively, and I was extremely pleased to get that one out of the way and get a win with them.
Yeah, and it was a back and forth first 10 minutes. You really took over in that second quarter period. I think it was like 62 to that second and third quarter period. You outscored. Right, it was really the difference in the ballgame. It was a 35-point game, and it really all happened in that middle 20 minutes. What was it that got you guys rolling? Because when you pulled away, there was no looking back.
There was. I think in my coaching experience, that's the quickest lead that we've, in my mind. I mean, it was a snap of a finger and we were up because it was back and forth that whole first quarter. We were actually down 1 going into the second, and then midway through the second, we hit a couple threes. Bailey got an offensive rebound kick out. Maddie drained a 3. Lauren got an and 1. And I think that was about in 4 possessions, and then it was, we just rolled from there. I think our depth had a lot to do with it, and our defense was pretty good, and then when you knock down shots, it makes things easier. And
Lauren Lee and Whitney Hay lead the way with 19 points apiece, and their ability, Coach, to break down defenses and get in to the lane. You know, Whitney ended up, I think, with 6 assists in the ball game. Again, 19 points apiece, and they just get in. They can control the game in a variety of ways, but it's not. It's smooth. It's effortless. It seems. I know it's not, but it seems that way from watching, which is really cool to see.
The thing I'm pleased with Whitney about right now the most is that she's 2 assists behind Lauren right now overall. Bailey's 2 assists behind her. Courtney, who led us behind Lauren last year, was behind Lauren, is right there in the mix. So we're leading the country in assists, and that just really pleases me that we've got 2 very good posts, averaging 15 points apiece, and the ability for them to create for themselves and for others is just making us that much better.
And the Lady Tigers have hung their hat on defense over the last several years. I know that's a big part of what you do. Some teams just want to outscore you. You want to do that, but in a way that really makes life difficult on opposing teams. A 94-59 win. You hold a team averaging almost 55% field goal percentage entering play to 32-33% for that 40-minute period. Really impressive job defensively.
It was. I felt like we rebounded the ball well too, and when you rebound the ball well, it helps your defense. You know, they don't get second opportunities, and they've got really good guard play. And in women's basketball, the mid-range jump shot is a lost art, and I feel like all of Rio's players have that mid-range jump shot. They can all pull up over the top of you and shoot, and we did a really good job closing out on them. We preached it, and they did follow what we wanted them to do. And I was very pleased with our defensive effort, very, very pleased.
And that was a late night start. It was 9:30 against Rice. So you drove down that day. You wait all day long for that top 10 matchup. I know there's got to be a lot of nervous energy and things going into that. So to see your kids respond after waiting all day, that's got to be something else you take away from that.
Beforehand it seems like a really bad idea, but when you make the schedule and you look at the 9:30 game, you don't think that much about it. And then when you get there and it's a top 10 matchup, and we drove down the day of, which is something we typically don't do, but that stresses you out in some ways. The girls lay around and sleep all day, and there's not much else to do. But Rio was in the same boat. They had to do the same thing we did, and it's a national tournament type atmosphere. Sometimes you have to play late, sometimes you have to play early, and so I thought we adjusted and handled it well.
And then flip the script, the Lady Tigers would battle Union the next night. It was supposed to be a 9:30 game. That would have been like dawn for the Lady Tigers, but it ended up tipping off after 11 o'clock. I think I saw some toothpicks on the far side, Coach, to keep some eyelids open. That's a first? That's the latest one ever, perhaps?
It has to be. We went into halftime, and I walked in. I was after the team, and they were counting down to Bree Gowdy's birthday. her birthday was Sunday, and it was literally turning midnight when we walked into the locker room at halftime. So we celebrated Bree's birthday a little bit. We had a pretty big lead, and it was kind of a neat thing, I think, for Bree. I'm sure something she'll never forget. But yeah, it was a late night.
119-48, the final score as they knock off Union College and pick up win number 6 on the season. Paige Serafini posted a new career best, coach, 16 points for her. Bree had a career high. I think she had a dozen in the victory. And then we saw the debut of Rachel Presley. I know that's been a long time coming. Sarah Sutton made her season debut. Yep. But to see Rachel finally get out there, I know it was limited time and just trying to figure out, how to fit into this big thing, but it was a nice.
She is. If you know Rachel, it's a bundle of personality. And when I called her name, she threw her shooting shirt at me and said, "I'm so nervous," because it's been 2 years since she's played any basketball at all, and so she got in and was able to get her feet wet. She fell hard as soon as she got in, and has got a little bit of an injury from the fall that we're having to work with. But we're excited about Rachel and what she brings to the table.
The Lady Tigers get a pair of wins. They'll come back home this week. Southeastern at Waits Thursday evening in the Powell Athletic Center, Stevens College there on Saturday. We'll step away, come back, and talk with the head coach about those two matchups. Stay with us here on Tiger Timeout.
Jason, let's go see your room.
No, that's not right. How was it? Is it good?
Tiger Timeout continues here on the Campbellsville University Sports Network. Matt Payton with you as we take a look at the upcoming matchups for the Lady Tigers. They'll be in action this week at the Powell Athletic Center Thursday night, a 7 o'clock start time against Southeastern. At least that's what's online, Coach. Is that right? Is a 7 o'clock start?
So 7 o'clock start.
We get so used to, we're creatures of habit. I want to say 6, but 7 o'clock start for the visiting Fire out of Florida, Lakeland, Florida. You've played at the Furnace. I don't know that you've ever played Southeastern, though. I think this is maybe a first all time.
So. We played there, but that was in first opening round we went to. But yeah, and familiar face. The Thomas Moore's former assistant coach is the head coach there now and doing a really good job. So it'll be a good game for us. They've went out and played some really tough competition, and I know they're itching for a win up here.
Yeah, season opening win over Faulkner, who's receiving votes. You'll see Faulkner later in the year, and then over the last few weeks they've played some tough teams. John Brown, Montana Western, I think. So it's a team that's been battle tested in Southeastern, and I know they were down a bit last year. They had a coaching change, working their way back. They had some kids that were injured, but they've still got a lot of veteran pieces. Rebecca Cook, who's a Kentucky kid that spent time at Western Kentucky, made her way down there, and Becky Kaladia. She's been there for what feels like maybe as long as Courtney has been. So she's kind of that rudder in the water for them, that point that drives that train. So it's a really talented Southeastern club.
It is, and it's a place where it's easy to get kids to come to. It's we've been there, and like we talked about, and it's a very nice school. And I just think they'll obviously continue to get better. And you have to respect them for going out and playing the teams they are.
And they'll make the trip up further north to play Cincinnati Claremont before they return back home to Lakeland. And then it gets no easier on Saturday. Stevens College comes to the Powell Center, and that's one that seems to be an improved club. They have played some tough games as well. Both of these two teams have 5 wins entering play, and Stevens comes over from Missouri. They'll play Georgetown Thursday evening before they come here on Saturday, so definitely a tough swing for them.
Yeah, if you come out and you go and play those two teams, play Campbellsville, Georgetown, that's a lot for them. They've went out and played Central Meth already. They are, to me, the sleeper in the NAI right now. I can't believe a lot more people aren't talking about them. They've played a lot of really tough, close games, and they've got great post play. And we've got Thursday to get through, but I know Saturday we have our hands full too. And
then in years past, you've had so many conference games, and the conference season starts earlier. Have you noticed a difference at this point, just from like the scouting and the way you have to look at? You're looking at different teams where in the past, hey, this is what Bethel's going to do, or this is what Lindsey Wilson's going to do, on and on down the list. Now you kind of bounce around a little more maybe than you've had to in years past.
Yes, we tried to get high quality opponents, and that's something that when you're playing them, you're thinking, why did I do that? But we've tried to go out and get those teams that come in and that are high quality, and we did. But you take a high-quality opponent like Thomas More, you know what they're doing, you know their players, but you take a high-quality opponent like Stevens and you're bringing them in trying to replace those teams, and you don't know as much about them. So, but I feel confident. I think I've got the best probably scout doctor in the country on my staff, and I have no problem with knowing that we're gonna have them down pat.
Earning her money, I think, is what they say.
Let me tell you, I don't say it enough, but that's her thing. That's her groove, and she prides herself in that. And there's not a play call she won't get. She figures stuff out. Tennessee Southern last year, it was either they would hold their short or hold their shirt, or she can pick all that stuff out. So she does a great job with it.
And if you're not around Miranda Denny, Hootie she's probably well known by. I feel like she's an individual that thinks in numbers. Like I think Hootie thinks in numbers.
Yes.
I don't like any conversation. It's just and you can see it all working. That she's trying to. She's going to come at you with some information here. Like you guys were close to breaking the scoring record earlier this year. And I walk down in between a media timeout, and I'm telling Hootie, I'm like, hey, the scoring record. And then it dawns on me, I just asked the girl, the lady that puts the media guide together, if she knows what the all-time scoring record is. But anyway, she's as good as it gets in the business.
Yeah, she really is. As far as an assistant, man, oh man, she could go anywhere and have her own program, but she chooses to stay here with us and the tradition that we have. And like I say, her scouts are just they're perfection. We're very fortunate with her.
And speaking of the tradition, it keeps growing, and you keep adding future Lady Tigers. We've talked about this a couple of times throughout the year. Most recently, Dia Bradley last week from Hart County. Then you go up north a little bit, Bullitt East, and Jada Hughes commits last week. And I know she was one that you got eyes on over the summer, I think, and just really liked her game.
Jada's one of those kids that has gone through an injury, wasn't seen on the AAU circuit. Her coach is a guy I trust wholeheartedly, and he just kept telling me, this is a kid you've got to look at. This is, and you have some of those coaches you have relationships with that you just trust immediately. And Jada came and worked out with us, and I knew then that she was a player. And we're this 1-2 punch in the guards that we have with Jada and Dia are going to be fun to watch.
So the cupboard not bare, not going to get bare anytime soon for these Lady Tigers. Coach, good luck this weekend. A couple of big ones in the Powell. Stevens College Saturday. Before that, Thursday night, Southeastern comes to Campbellsville at the Powell Athletic Center. It's a 7 o'clock start time. Coverage begins at 6:45. We'll step away, come back, and visit with the head coach of Tiger basketball, Brent Vernon, here on Tiger Timeout.
If you love them enough to drive an hour to cheer them on as they get beat 11-0 in the rain, then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Throw that ball, Diane. Woo! You got this. I got the opportunity to get her, there wasn't no choice. I told myself, I'm gonna take custody of my daughter. It's my baby. That's what we're supposed to do as men. Take care of our home, build a foundation, you know what I'm saying? Love, our money, she's my purpose. I'm here to walk with her, hold her hand until she can walk alone. Ain't nothing like being a father in this world.
Welcome back to Tiger Timeout here on the Campbellsville University Sports Network. Matt Payton with you as we transition over to Tiger basketball. Campbellsville hosting the Luke Cunningham Classic this past weekend. They get a pair of victories over Simmons College of Kentucky Friday. Saturday they knock off Harris-Stowe State University. Coach, an event that we've had here the last several years as Brent Vernon joins me, and I say several years, 24 years. Coach Cunningham was the head coach here 25 years, so you're kind of next year might need a little celebration for year 25. But celebrating with 2 wins, I know that's kind of the key for you guys to pick them up in the Lou. Always fun.
It is, and we did a good job for the most part. We've played a lot of back-to-backs this year, and that always worries you a little bit, especially when your numbers are a little low. But our guys did a very nice job. Thought we played pretty well on Friday, but we really, really did a nice job for 35 minutes on Saturday in the game against Harris-Stowe. Yeah, and on Friday you gapped Simmons early, 84-48, I believe the final score. But it was the score at halftime, 38-13. We talked about this post game. I think they kind of come back and made a little run there at you guys, and you took a timeout, and your team responded. And I always think that that's the sign of a good coach when you can kind of, you've got that moment and whatever it was you said resonated, and then you went back, stretched that lead back out to finish strong. Yeah, and we've been working on that. Whenever we've gotten some leads, I wouldn't say we become lazy or a little lackadaisical. Don't feel like that, all right, we can rest for just a split second. And we're just trying to become a little more consistent with that. And, we wanted to play really good the first 2 or 3 minutes, came out a little sluggish, but then we really got back going, got the lead back to where it needed to be, and finished the game off the right way. And obviously, 13 points and a half, I don't care who you're playing. We defended really well in the first half. Yeah, and the Tigers get the win. Darius Harding led the way with 20 points. But, one piece that over the last few years we've talked about is Chandler Clements and what he can bring offensively. But here in his final season, he started to really kind of blossom, and that game has grown quite a bit. And I know that the 16 rebounds, that's something that really jumps out, but he's contributing in so many ways right now. He is. He's been asked to guard a little differently than what he has in the past. A lot of times he's always guarded, fives or post players, and because now he's playing a lot more 4 for us, he does guard some posts, but sometimes we switch on the perimeter with him and stuff like that. So defensively he's having to do a lot more than he's ever had to do in the past. And he's finally to the point where it's not that he's always been about scoring, but it's what he was always asked to do for so many years, and we want him to be able to score now. But now for him in his last year, it's whatever I can do to help us win, and he's really done a great job with that. Yeah, Kobe Penny, Tyrell Hunt, Noah Gordon in double figures in the victory over Simmons on Saturday. Quick turnaround, Harris-Stowe State, 92-70, the final score. You guys, led the entire way. It felt really good about it, and a couple of big performances. Darius knocked in, I think 6 threes or something crazy again, 22 points just off a career best. And then Jace Wallace had his best game of the year, 22 points for him, double-figure rebounds. He was an assist shy of a triple-double. When you're getting those individual performances, it certainly makes things easier as a team, I would think. It does, and we've really done a nice job, I think, for the most part all year. But here in the last 2-3 weeks of continuing to share the ball, make the extra pass with each other. Our assist numbers have been really good. I think last week both games were above 20, which was phenomenal. It becomes somewhat of a contagious thing because you make that extra pass for a good shot to a great shot, and people start making shots, and the confidence rises, and everybody feeds off of it. And I think you could see that starting early in the game Friday, continuing into the game Saturday, and it was all parties involved. And that's just a great thing as a coach to see, whether the shot goes in or not, just the unselfishness our team is playing with right now. And with the exception of Jay Milber missing Friday, you've started to settle into
finally, a bit of a rhythm with what you have and who's available. It's been, the first 3 weeks you were losing somebody each and every week, and still without Cam Vick. Hopefully that he's back later on in the year. We'll see what the future holds for him, but starting to maybe to get that continuity and having the same 8, 10, 12 guys, whatever, well, not 12, but
No.
8 to 10 guys or so to be available for you.
Yeah, we have a very good rotation right now. We're playing, 9 guys consistently, and everything's really seeming to click at the right time for us. And, we're just going to continue to find spots and holes to fill people in. And, for me, it's just about continuing to work on us as a team and progress and continue to play hard. And that's what we really got back to this weekend and was very happy for our guys.
The Tigers do get a pair of wins in the Lou Cunningham Classic. They turn their attention to Western Kentucky. They'll visit the Hilltoppers tonight. The Tigers tipping off at 8 o'clock in Diddle Arena. 7:45 coverage will begin on 88.7 The Tigers, so you can keep it here for a short bit as Campbellsville tips in just a little while. We'll step away, come back, and talk with the head coach about that matchup with Western Kentucky. Stay with us on Tiger Timeout.
The family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? The kind to hug or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter what you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
One final segment of Tiger Timeout here on the Campbellsville University Sports Network. Matt Payton and Brent Vernon here with you as the Tigers get set for their exhibition matchup with Western Kentucky, the Hilltoppers, here in just a bit. And Coach, as you get set for this Division I exhibition, it's been something in your schedule over the last couple of years. It's kind of been a staple. I think we missed them once in there along the way, but it's just a really cool for your guys.
Yeah,
they love to play on this level.
Absolutely.
Some of them have been there. They played at the Division I level. So for a few, not something that they've been exposed to, but for some, man, they love this moment.
It is, and it's really good for our guys. It's a little different this year. We might have had this one other time in the past, but exhibition for us, regular season for them. So normally in the past we played exhibition and it had not been a counter for them. We've played on a Saturday. Crowds have been good, not great, but now you're going in midweek. School's still in session. I expect a good crowd, even though we may be an NAIA playing a Division I. I expect them to have a good crowd there. It's for them, every game's a big game. They got a new staff in and a new team, so people are excited to see them. And for us, we're excited to go and try to give them the best effort we can.
And this is the get off my lawn moment. I hate it from the standpoint of a broadcast.
Yeah.
It's so loud in there.
It is.
Like you think, at times the PAL gets it is so loud in there at times. Like I don't even know what I'm thinking about. It gets kind of crazy, and with the students being there tonight, it could get very rowdy. And I know you got some guys that feed off that, though.
Absolutely. And again, it's an atmosphere that, is it better than what we see when we go to a Georgetown? I don't know if it is or not. But it's a bigger arena. It's a nice moment for our guys. I haven't even checked. Normally these games are on ESPN Plus and stuff like that. You get the media timeouts, so you get a whole different effect of things. And like you said, we've had guys that have been on this level and played that way. But for us, we're playing good basketball right now. Regardless, at the end of the game, no numbers changing our records, but we're going up there to play and win. And again, is it a tough task? Incredibly tough. You can play them 100 times. You may beat them once or twice. It's not going to happen much more than that. but we hope it's one of those two times. And we're going to go up there. We've got what we feel like is a great game plan tonight, and we're going to roll the ball out and see what happens.
And kind of playing with house money a little bit,
Absolutely.
right? I mean, you get to go up there, and nobody expects Campbellsville to come beat Division I Western Kentucky, but it's a Hilltopper team. You look at some of the numbers, and there are some things that you can pick up on. The one thing that jumped out to me immediately, and I hate to say this because I know what'll happen now. I'm going to jinx you, Coach. I would talk about it. I'm going to talk about the broadcast anyway. But just 24% from three to start the season. So, they've got a handful of wins here, whatever, but they've not shot the ball well from deep. And that's one thing. If you can kind of get going and make them earn some buckets, who knows?
That's the goal. I mean, and you sound like a coach right now. The first thing we did
I've been around a few.
was look at statistics, because for us, the biggest disadvantage is size. I mean, they are big and they're stronger, and they have the nutrition and the weight programs and all that, which we do, but it's just not to their level and capability. So Coach Lutz, in a short amount of time, he's done a great job of bringing in good transfers. But for us, we got to be able to guard the ball and find a way to rebound. They're not shooting it well, and as you said, whenever that happens, normally they turn around and they do shoot it well. We got to know where Dante Allen's at all times, the transfer from Kentucky, obviously. He's not shooting it real well either, but he is just a phenomenal shooter. After that, I think they have a lot of guys who are capable, but not really great shooters. So we're going to do some things, obviously, not just let them shoot, but if they want to live and die by that, we're going to let them do that a little bit more and trying to get to the rim. And you got to be able to stop their center down low. It's going to be a tough task, but we got some things that we'll work on to see how it does, to where if we see bigger guys later on in the year.
You mentioned Dante Allen, and he's a guy that most people will be familiar with, but you look at that roster, even Dante Allen, and I know they've had a couple injuries here or there, but it's a lot of guys. They don't have anybody that's going to play or haven't played 30 minutes a night or whatever it is.
Right.
They're all around that 23 to 20. Honestly, it kind of resembles some stuff that Coach Ginger High Colvin and the Lady Tigers do a lot. They got a lot of guys averaging 20, 22, 23 minutes a game. Nobody has that 27, 20. I think 24 is the most.
And they pick up a little full court man, but it's not the run and jump press. I could see them trying to do that, but they play extremely fast on the offensive end. Miss or make, they're pushing the ball. They compete and play incredibly hard on the defensive end. And I think, Coach, early on in the year, he's got a couple guys that have been out that'll be back, I think, after Christmas, but trying to find the right mixture. He's got a couple guys that are left over from Coach Stansberry's team and roster, but a lot of new guys, and they're all just trying to find their niche in this new system. And, it takes some time, and, they don't have as much time to prepare as we do, as we started 2 or 3 weeks earlier than they did. So they're in a little bit of fast-forward mode right now, but it'll be fun regardless. It's just a great atmosphere and a great opportunity for our team to go out and try to make the best of it.
And one slight difference for you in years past, you've had a game right before this or maybe a game right after. I think one year you may have had a conference game right after where you kind of had to squeeze it in, and you're more worried about that, right? So, we're playing this exhibition. Well, this year, you can kind of, go all in because you've got a week and a half off before you get Voorhees on the 11th. So a bit of a different scenario for you in that regard.
It is. And you said, I think the last time we played them, we played on a Tuesday or maybe it's Monday night, and the following 3 days later we were freed Hardman.
Tuesday. They wanted Tuesday, and you asked for
That's
Monday.
Right. And I think 2 days later, 3 days later, we were playing freed Hardman. And so that was really tough. We were supposed to have a classic this weekend that got canceled. So after tonight, we don't play again until the following Saturday, which is good. So we can treat it a little different. We did a whole lot more in the exhibitions when we had games coming up right away of trying to manage some time. But tonight we don't have to. We can play how we need to, and if guys need to play 35, 36 minutes, we'll be able to do that.
Best of luck this evening.
Thanks, Matt.
The Tigers and Hilltoppers coming up here in just a bit on 88.7. The Tiger is they'll tip off at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. 7:45 coverage begins. A special thank you to head coach of the Lady Tigers, Ginger High Colvin, as well as Brent Vernon for joining us this week. Matt Payton. We'll see you next time on Tiger Timeout.